Hi, Mark T the Handyman here. Today I'm going to explain how to use a refrigerant gauge manifold. So what we have here are two sets of gauges. On the left side is an old set of gauges that I purchased in right around 1976. And the right side, we have a set of gauges that I purchased about 10 years ago. And the main difference is the new refrigerants are high pressure, where the old refrigerants would be considered low pressure. On the outside of the low pressure suction gauge, we have pressure gauge that is read in PSI or PSIG. And the inner rings for the R12, 22, and 502 are on the inside. And what that is the temperature of the refrigerants correspond to the pressure that you're going to have on the outside. On the other gauge, it's the high pressure gauge. It goes from 0 to 500, and that's for the high side refrigerant pressures and temperatures. And it's the same thing. At 150 pounds, R22 would be looks like about 80, maybe 80 degrees, which is pretty low. You're probably low of gas if you got something that low. And again, the refrigerants R12, 22, and 502, totally different. So the new gauge on the left side, it's the same principle except different refrigerants. In this case, you've got the pressure ring. It's in the black and white there, goes all the way around, and it goes up to 300, where the other one went to 120. And the refrigerants are R22 and R410A and R404A. And it's the same thing. So they're going to correspond. The temperature is going to correspond to what the pressure is on the ring. And of course, the outer ring is the orange ring. That's for R404A. The next ring is the R410A, and that's the pink ring. And then for R22, which is a standard color for them, that is going to be R22, the green scale. And these colors will also be the color of the cans that the refrigerant are. So if you buy 404A, it's going to be in an orange can. By 410A, it's going to be in the pink can. And of course, R22 is in the green can. One of the things that I'm going to show you is how to calibrate these gauges. It's the same on the old set and the new set here. On the new set, we're going to do the low side because it's slightly off here. The other one seems to be right where it's supposed to be. So what we'll do is we'll take this plastic covering off, which is protection, and then we're going to take the cover off, the gauge itself. And then we're going to take our screwdriver and we're going to move that little calibration screw just a little bit left or right to get it where it's supposed to be. If you notice that I'm calibrating it to in this particular case, to the left side of the zero, because that's PSI. The other side of the gauge, to the right side of that zero, is going to be in a vacuum. So what we're looking at here is the new set of gauges, or fairly new anyway. And on the back side, we have the ports. They're called the dummy ports. At least that's what I've always called them. If you're using these to add refrigerant or take refrigerant out, they will be on the port that for whatever you're doing. And we'll try to go through that in a little bit. On the gauges themselves, it's color-coded. Blue is the suction side, or low pressure side, and the red is the discharge side, or the high pressure side. And everything, like I say, is blue for low, red for high. These valves here, they open and close the refrigerant flow. And it's just like a regular valve that you find on a faucet. Open is counterclockwise, and closing it is clockwise. Once again, that's showing you the back, just to show you that again. Now, let's go outside. So now we're outside, and we're going to put the gauges on the unit itself. The refrigerant in this system is 410A. So we have two refrigerant lines coming into our condensing unit. First, we have the suction line and then the liquid line. The suction line is the bigger of the two lines. It has insulation on it. When the unit is running, the suction line will be cool to the touch. It might even have some condensate on it, but it should never have ice on it. The liquid line should feel warm, but never hot. If the liquid line is hot, that means that the condenser coil probably is dirty, or for some reason there's a lack of airflow over the condenser coil. Both lines have caps on them to protect them from leaking. So we'll need to take those caps off before we put our gauges on. These particular caps, you'll need an adjustable wrench or an open-end wrench to remove them. Both of the lines have Schrader fittings on them, similar to what you'd find on a car or a bicycle. Every so often, the Schrader may have a leak in it and will need to be replaced. So there is a tool that will remove the Schrader. I'm not going to demonstrate how it works, but I'll show you what it looks like. So here's our gauge manifold. First thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the high side and the low side valves are closed, and make sure that your hoses are all tight on both sides, in the front and the back. And we want to close our ball valves on each of the lines. We will start by attaching the blue hose to the low pressure side of the system, which is the suction side. As you can see, there's no pressure on the gauge because I have the ball valve closed. Once we open the ball valve, the blue hose will be able to see what the pressure is. Next, we are going to attach the red hose to the liquid line. Because we have liquid refrigerant in the liquid line, we're going to get a bit of a spray, and that's why you need the gloves. Same as before, because we have the ball valve on the red high pressure line, we will not be bleeding any pressure on the gauge until we open the ball valve. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that you should also be wearing safety glasses when working with refrigerant. Most of the time, when you put your gauges on, the suction pressure and the liquid pressure will be very close, if not the same. In this particular case, we had just shut the air conditioning off, so the liquid line is a little bit higher pressure than the suction side. So now we've got our gauges hooked up, and now it's time to turn the air conditioning on. So I'm going to go to the thermostat and turn the unit on, and then we'll watch the pressures as the unit runs. When the unit comes on, the first thing you're going to notice is the suction pressure is going to drop and the high pressure is going to raise. Ideally, what we're looking for is a temperature of between 40 and 45 degrees on the suction side or low pressure side, and about 100 to 110 degrees on the liquid line or the high pressure side. If you look closely at the gauges, you can see we're right at 45 degrees on the suction side and about 105 degrees on the liquid line. So we're exactly where we want to be, and that tells us a couple of things. Our system is running good, our refrigerant charge is right where it needs to be. As a service person, I can easily say that this unit is charged properly and running properly. Okay, let's turn the unit off. What you will notice is when the unit goes off, the suction pressure starts to climb and the discharge pressure starts to lower. Once the two pressures start to settle out a little bit, it's time to take the gauges off. First, let's put our gloves back on. So what we're going to do is we're going to close the small valve on the red hose and also on the blue hose. That way, when we release the pressure as we take off the hoses, you'll only lose the refrigerant to the Schrader fitting. We want to double check that our valves are closed on the gauge manifold. And now I'm going to remove the suction side. Not too much came out because it's a vapor. The refrigerant from the ball valve, we are going to see a little bit more with the liquid line because it's liquid refrigerant that will be leaving the hose. So now we want to reattach both of our high pressure hose and our low pressure hose. I'm going to open the high pressure valve and the low pressure valve on the manifold, and then open the yellow refrigerant valve to equalize the pressure in both the low side and high side of the manifold. After that, next we're going to bleed the remainder of the refrigerant that is in both red and blue hoses and also in the yellow hose. You want to leave a little bit of refrigerant vapor in the hose while you store the hoses, but it's not a good idea to leave liquid in any of the hoses because that could cause the gauges to get out of calibration. And now you want to confirm that your hoses are tight and you can store the manifold properly. Now we want to put the caps back on the Schrader fittings. And by the way, I forgot to tell you about these valves on top of the Schrader fittings. Both liquid and suction lines have a valve that when you take off the caps, you can use an Allen wrench to close both of those valves to isolate the condensing unit from the rest of the system. If you need to isolate the condenser, usually what you're going to do is close the liquid line first while running the unit, and the compressor will suck the refrigerant from the liquid line, the indoor coil and the suction line so that you'll have almost all of the refrigerant stored in the condenser. And then you can shut the suction line off, and now the refrigerant is in the condenser, and the condenser can be removed from the area if needed for some reason. Usually it's for relocating the condensing unit. So once you put the Schrader fitting caps back on, it's always good housekeeping practice to wipe off any dirt or oil from the refrigerant lines. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up or a like. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.